Compass Mining is your trusted partner in Bitcoin mining. Whether you're investing in one machine or thousands, our customizable solutions are tailored to meet your needs. We are your experts in Bitcoin mining, offering a platform where individuals and businesses can purchase hardware, host machines, and access a range of ancillary Bitcoin mining services. We also specialize in large-scale site development and data center operations. Discover more at compassmining.io and see how we can power your success today. Hey miners, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, the official home of power mining analysis. Monday afternoon, Bitcoin has retaken $84,000 during trading today. The miners have started to turn green. That's what we're going to be talking about in today's presentation. A major case for both the bulls and the bears in the Bitcoin space. In addition to that, we got some great updates out from the Bitcoin mining stocks we cover on the channel. All of that and more. Before we get into it, take a second, smash the like button, guys. Big help to myself and the channel. Anthony loves it. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to join. And let us know in the comment section below, are you currently feeling bullish, bearish, or neutral on the Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining stocks? And what's your take for the remainder of 2025? Now, with that being said, let's get into today's video. All right, guys, a very special Monday afternoon here. It's St. Patrick's Day. Anthony, you're doing some celebrating. You've flown all the way to Ireland for the big event. Why don't you give us an on-the-ground recon there?
Yeah, St. Patrick's Day. I'm in Belfast. For those of you that are aware, Belfast is the capital of Northern Ireland, and it's a really great day. I've managed to have 3 or 4 hours out today, meet some friends, watch the parade. It's a big event. First time I've been in Ireland for this event, so loved it. I've been in New York for St. Patrick's Day, and they also have make a big deal of St. Patrick's Day because quarter of America is apparently Irish. So yeah, no, a great day, and managed to keep the beers to a level that I could carry out the podcast tonight. So looking forward to doing this one.
You're a better man than I am, Anthony. I'm hoping to get some green beers after the podcast. I think the McNallie name, I may be one of those descendants you talk about there, Anthony. Green in the markets as well for St. Patrick's Day. It was looking red this morning. We're going to talk about the bull versus bear case for Bitcoin, some of the volatility, which is a hot topic on the channel. Nice to see we're getting some green shoots for the green holiday with most of the miners now, Anthony, in the green for the day.
Yeah, there's just a couple that are borderline in red at the moment, but nothing more than just over 1% down. Soluna's having a good day. Gryphon's having a good day, 10% and 6% respectively. Kango's a share that we don't generally cover too much. They're a Chinese miner with a hash rate, I think at the last time, about 32 exahash, looking to grow to 50x by the end of Q1. And hodling all their Bitcoin for the last 3 or 4 months. So they've been growing their hodl quite significantly. They're up 13.5% today. The reason it caught my attention is they're actually in my pick. So from a competition perspective, it looks to be a reasonable choice now as we get close to the end of the competition. 2 weeks to go, guys. Make sure you get to the website, look at where you sit at the moment, and also get ready because we'll probably do another competition in the next few weeks, starting again for the next 3 months. But yeah, we'll cover the results of where we are as we get close to the end of the competition date itself, just to give people a countdown of where we are. But really great number of entries this time, and hopefully we can match that in the next competition at least.
Yeah, you're right. It'll be our third iteration of Miner Madness 3.0 coming up for Q2 2025. So get your picks ready, you guys. More details to come on that one soon. But as you say, Anthony, great to see some double-digit returns or gains for the miners. I was looking back through some of my trades from prior years, 2023, 2024. I have screenshots on my phone and highlighting some of those days. It's great to see once again returning to the space. Now, interesting news over the weekend. 2 really good case studies here. One on the bull side of things, one on the bear side of things that really prompted the idea for today's podcast, Anthony. Josh Mandell, this is a name I was unfamiliar with until this weekend. I guess based on his Twitter bio, a former Salmon Brothers employee back in their heyday, the 1990s, 98. Think of Wolf of Wall Street. Most recently, he was a trader at Caxton Associates, a $12 billion asset under management management hedge fund. He's come out in the Bitcoin community making some very specific, very bold predictions. I'll let you move into that in a second, Anthony. It's got people in the community starting to ask the question, could Josh Mandell actually be Satoshi Nakamoto with his level of insight and precision into these Bitcoin predictions?
Yeah, who knows? But 6 months ago, he was the chap that actually said that on the 14th of March, Bitcoin would close at 84,000. And lo and behold, it did. At the time of the prediction, the Bitcoin price itself was 74,000. So, that gives the credibility as a trader, certainly in the space there. His next prediction now, believe this or not, is calling for 444,000 at the top of this current cycle. So time will tell if he's correct. I'm really hoping he is correct because that will obviously benefit me. I'm still holding my Bitcoin, not selling any at the moment, and not like selling in the future.
Yeah, very interesting. Now, if you read more into this story, what's so unique about this, Anthony? This isn't just a standard technical analysis prediction or a gut feeling. According to Josh himself, he's saying this is actually a very specific prediction based on memories of something that he says occurred 30 years ago, combined with thoughts which seem to be ever present in his mind. So almost a cryptic or spiritual kind of element here. Basically, had said to the media, I'll tell you a prediction for the 14th of March of 84,000. If that comes true, then you guys, essentially, he's saying we'll run the table on Bitcoin and get to that 444 level. So even if he's half right, Anthony, I think you and I would be quite happy with that outcome. And as you can see, the close there within dollars of that 6 month prediction. Now, lo and behold, while all of that was going on, I was learning about Josh Mandell. I started seeing tweets from HODL15 talking about another fellow on the other side of the bull versus bear spectrum here, who went out on a whim and decided to open an $8.3 million position to short Bitcoin with 40x leverage. So this was essentially a $332 million short sale and got picked up quite quickly by crypto Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not somebody who actually goes in and does any type of trading. I know there are people out there that do it. I don't like it. It does create that sort of volatility around Bitcoin itself. But to go and put a trade in there, a 40 times trade shorting Bitcoin at this point in time, really got the attention of quite a few other Bitcoin maxis out there.
It certainly did. They almost teamed up to put together a team to try and break this guy's short position or liquidate him. So originally, Anthony, when he opened the position, he would have been liquidated if Bitcoin rose to 85,290. It actually started rising based on all of these whales pooling together and buying Bitcoin. So much so that he had to inject an additional $5.3 million into the trade to bring that liquidation price up to 86.6. Now, I think he did avoid liquidation, but as you can see with HODL15's posts, his profit dropped from an $11.2 million profit on the trade. Last I saw was about a $4.9 million profit. So still not bad for a weekend's worth of work, but you've got to have a large pair of kahunas to be 40x shorting Bitcoin at this point in the cycle, Anthony. As you say, not anything I would even remotely think to do. Now, you mentioned the Chinese miner Kango earlier in the presentation. We've heard that governments around the world, specifically China, Russia, may start getting involved in Bitcoin mining. I wanted to throw this slide in. Interesting to see that both the United States and China now have Bitcoin balances in the neighborhood of 190 to 200,000 Bitcoin, which is creating a very interesting geopolitical situation as these two behemoths really go back and forth now on the Bitcoin battleground.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not too far away from having literally like 1% of the total amount of Bitcoin that's been mined at the moment for each country. We do know the United States are very keen to adopt a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and already in early discussions, they're looking to maybe gain about 200,000 Bitcoin a year for the next 4 or 5 years to take that total to 1 million Bitcoin. and really have a strong presence in the space there to support the dollar. And now we're seeing other countries like China also highlight the fact that they've got a significant amount. And if these two countries are doing this, you can bet you there's a lot more countries out there think along the same lines, and we'll probably get further and further updates. In fact, there's another country also that's potentially highlighting their new Bitcoin reserve. I'll let you carry on with that one.
Yeah, this is another interesting one, Anthony. North Korea apparently now has a strategic Bitcoin reserve in the neighborhood of about 13,500 coins. So again, rumors circulating that this may have something to do with the Bybit hack, potentially be confiscated Bitcoin. Similar, I guess, to what the United States did with Silk Road at the time. However, again, unsubstantiated there. The point being, countries around the world continue to adopt. And when you think about it, Anthony, the fact that these countries are able to print fiat currency or create money essentially out of thin air, not a lot of downside risk in putting some of that in Bitcoin. If it works out, great, you're ahead of the curve. If it doesn't, essentially you didn't really lose anything in the process. So we'll continue to monitor that. I think you said in one of our prior podcasts around 21 countries now looking at this strategic Bitcoin reserve in some capacity. So those are the top headlines. Again, a bulls versus bear story over the weekend here with some major moves on both sides of the equation. We're strongly in the bulls camp, Anthony, but it seems there's an equal group of people in the bear camp. We'll see who ultimately wins here. So with that being said, we're moving on to the miner-specific news. A fairly good day for news in the space. The first one being Bitfarms. Notice the new look and feel to the website. They've got a new logo, very similar to almost what we see with Mara or IREN, using their ticker for the company logo. They've gone that lights out dark mode on their website, and they've now completed the Stronghold acquisition, further bolstering their portfolio moving into 2025.
Yeah, I mean this is just the finalization of the transaction. We knew a long time ago this was happening, and we knew that it would take place and be completed in that first quarter of 2025. Well, today they've announced that it has been completed, and the acquisition of Stronghold brings the following benefits through to Bitfarms. It increases the energy portfolio to a total of 623 megawatts under management, with incremental 165 megawatts of active generating capacity and 142 of immediately available input capacity. It also secures 1.1 gigawatts of growth pipeline in Pennsylvania. Remember, they purchased that site in Pennsylvania, and that includes the current power generation capacity and the current and imported grid capacity and any future imported capacity as well. And the demand response programs that they'll be able to take place in Pennsylvania will also reduce overall electricity costs. So that's a good positive sign. Remember, Bitfarms pulled out of Paraguay now. They've sold their 200 megawatt facility to Hive Digital. That went through very recently. They're focusing on North America, very much on the US now. They have sites in Canada. They are a Canadian miner by origin now. But they are fully focused on delivering Bitcoin mining and high performance computing at a number of their sites as we go forward.
Compass Mining makes Bitcoin mining accessible to everyone. Start mining in as little as 48 hours with our turnkey hardware, online and mining directly to your Bitcoin wallet within 2 business days. Find out more at compassmining.io and get started now. Yeah, that's a great story playing out. We're looking forward to getting Ben back on the channel soon to answer some of your guys' questions. The other individual we're looking forward to chatting with, Jeff LaBerge. He was just on recently, but this Sealminer story, Anthony, seems to just keep getting better and better by the minute. Now, you and I talked offline a lot about this, saying how is the market not grasping the potential of this? If you look at even Bitmain's portion of the market and the statistics or the efficiency rates that Sealminer is able to get, really not that difficult to think they could start to take significant market share. So at this point, the efficiency metrics are there. Now it's going to really come down to production, scaling that production, and getting these units in the hands of either themselves or customers at a large scale.
Yeah, and this has been a great story now for just over a year since we've been talking about the Sealminer. There's going to be effectively four models. This is the Sealminer A2 model. So this is the second model, and I believe from their original presentation they were looking to try and achieve about 16.5 joules a terahash. Well, today's announcement, it looks like they've beaten that target there. So the power efficiency of the Sealminer A2 Pro Air 14.9 joules a terahash, and the efficiency of the Sealminer A2 Pro Hydro is 14.9 as well. In terms of hash rate for these machines, the Sealminer A2 Pro Air 255 to 270, and the Hydro version literally double that, 500 to 530 for one machine. So, what you start talking about there is you're starting to think about the actual space capacity. You don't need as big a spaces. These machines now are delivering, really high level of hash rate for a, similar size miner, and that would be great for companies who are looking to upgrade and don't have to build new facilities. They can upgrade mining machines and have greater efficiency and greater hash rate in their current buildings, provided obviously they've got the power to support this. And the power consumption for the A2 Pro Air is 3,719 megawatts to 4,050, and for the Hydro 7,450 to 7,900 megawatts. Watts for that machine there. So you've got to have the power to keep that hash rate at the level that you're trying to achieve. But space-wise, you don't need anywhere near the space that you previously provided, because these machines are really efficient, and they're not much bigger than the older machines or typical ASIC machines that you could buy from other manufacturers.
Yeah, it's funny when you start thinking about the different units here. So these machines are multi-thousand watts. Then you've got megawatts. Then you've got now sites in the gigawatt level, Anthony. Think how many machines. Obviously, that's why the CapEx component of the Bitcoin mining business is so big and fundamental to this sector. Now, you just mentioned Hive as the recipient of that 200 megawatt facility off Bitfarms in Paraguay. They've now taken that a step further. They've hired a country president of Paraguay, essentially someone boots on the ground with subject matter expert of the country and local operations there.
Yeah, they've just appointed Gabriel Lamas as the country president of Paraguay, and he's going to lead the operations and expansion in the region for this role. And if you think about where Hive operate elsewhere, they've also, within Sweden, they're using Johanna Thornblad, who's the president for Sweden as well. So having somebody who's familiar with the political situation over there, has obviously key links into the various levels of bureaucracy and able to deal with issues in country. And this is exactly the same that they're doing now. Now, Gabriel is a proven leader in the infrastructure and energy. He's got 20 years of experience in infrastructure and large-scale energy projects. The other thing is he's fluent in three languages, known for his technical acumen, leadership, and unwavering discipline. And apparently, he's as well as being a devoted family man and dedicated athlete, he starts every day with a 5 a.m. workout, a testament to his relentless drive. So he's going to be leading the expansion in Paraguay. And that's going to be quite significant. That's going to be 300 megawatts of power supporting their Bitcoin mining. And when you think about in terms of hash rate or percentage of hash rate, that's going to be close to 3/4 of all Hive's hash rate in Paraguay. So he's going to have a fairly big job on his hands there. And if you think about the timelines, expected to start rapidly increasing hash rate by the end of Q2, and then by the end of Q3, the company are expected to get to close to 24 or 25 exahash, puts them in that sort of top tier alongside the likes of Riot Platforms, IREN, CleanSpark, Marathon Digital, as a miner with over 20 exahash and a really efficient fleet to go with it.
Yeah, they've got a big opportunity ahead of them this year, Anthony. 4x growth in their hash rate. Like you say, would really catapult them into that top tier, but that's a big feat and a big challenge ahead of them. We heard from the chairman and CEO, Aiden Killick of Hive, that they're up for the challenge, and this is a great step in the right direction for sure. Now, another company we've been following closely, IREN. We had Dan Roberts on the program recently. He talked to us about the next few steps with their power portfolio and really their plans for 2025 expansion. This was a big press release today, really securing the 600 megawatt grid connection for their new Sweetwater 2 site, which is going to eventually be a big part of this Sweetwater data center campus.
Yeah, they've signed a 600 megawatt grid connection agreement for Sweetwater 2, and that's advancing its 2 gigawatt data center in West Texas. So this extra 600 megawatts puts their position now as clearly a leader in scaling data center infrastructure. Many miners that we spoke to have commented on the fact that IREN have got a lot of experience in producing really, really good data centers for Bitcoin mining. And the stretch to build data centers for high performance computing, because IREN do really good data centers already, isn't as big as it would be for, say, other miners who don't have those types of really top end scale facilities. If you think about what they've got in terms of power, 2.75 gigawatts now in West Texas, fully contracted, puts them in a really strong position in terms of potential contract deals now with hyperscalers to deliver similar contracts to the likes we've seen from Core Scientific and TeraWulf already this year, and there's a number of other miners as well as knocking on the door. We've heard Cypher expected to have a client maybe in place by the end of the year, and we've seen announcements from the area that Hut 8 are developing to say that potentially there's a big client going into one of their facilities as well. We've not had it confirmed by the company, but we've seen enough information from the local mayor and the local newsletter to say there's an expectation that this is going to happen. Well, IREN also now, announcing these large power updates, and this will help them, in terms of delivering the expectation. Now, in terms of connection costs, 4.1 million in connection costs and nearly 27 million in refundable deposits over the next 12 months. And the energization for this is going to be late 2027. Now that might, to some people, that's 2.5 years away from where we are at the moment. But bear in mind, when you're speaking to these, big hyperscalers, the likes of Amazon, the likes of Microsoft, the likes of CoreWeave, it's not about having HPC in place next week. It's about a plan, and there's a plan to grow. And so therefore, these type of timelines of 2 to 3 years are actually puts himself in a fairly strong position. I mean, we've heard from Dan Roberts to say the current amount of power associated with high performance computing in America at the moment is around about 4 gigawatts, and that's going to grow to 32 gigawatts. Well, of that 32 gigawatts, it looks like IREN have getting close to 8-9% of that at their sites at Sweetwater and at the sites at Childress. So time will tell, but they are currently actively engaging with the large global AI and cloud computing firms to align the infrastructure with the demand that they're anticipating. And hopefully IREN will continue to provide updates and key milestones as they are achieved.
Most definitely making some big moves to kick off the week there from IREN. And keep in mind, you guys, this is a stock that's now trading sub $7.50. Right now it's on the screen at $7.45 with a market cap of around 1.6 billion. So as we said, Anthony, if you liked CleanSpark, Riot, IREN a few weeks ago, you should just be salivating at these prices right now. And you and I were both making some buys actually to kick off the week here as well. So with that being said, we mentioned Kango. We mentioned the fact they're having a strong day. That's really propelling you up the leaderboard here, Anthony, in terms of miner madness. We've got just under 2 weeks left in the second iteration acceleration of this competition, things are looking very good for yourself. But more importantly, the sector now is starting to come back to life a little bit.
Yeah, we're seeing a few green shoots coming through. Bear in mind, I might be sat in third place, but even my portfolio on the competition is still 20% down. Now, bear in mind in competition one, which was the last 3 months of 2024, as we were sort of getting close to starting to entering the bull cycle, literally, the great majority of people in that competition were in profit by the end of the 3 months. It's unlikely unless we see some big moves, and we can see some big moves in the miners. We know miners can go 20-30% up in a day, but even the leader at the moment is just a little under 20% down, and it's going to take some significant share price increases in the next 2 weeks to get anybody in that territory. So, as I say, go to the website, check out where you are there, put some comments beneath there to let us know how you're doing. What would you have chosen in hindsight? And get ready to start looking forward to the next competition in literally a few weeks' time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think most people will be happy to put this one behind them and start getting their Miner Madness 3 picks in, Anthony. But congrats to yourself. And I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm feeling bullish, Anthony, as you said in New York there. And I think we're going to see some green on the leaderboard here in the next 2 weeks. So we'll see how it all turns out. You guys, that's your St. Patrick's Day update. The green holiday, the green beer, and hopefully the green close to the miners here today as well. Let us know how you're feeling in the comment section below. And also worth noting on your calendar, we've got Sam Tabar this Friday coming on to talk to us about fiscal year 2024 Q4 and their exciting HPC growth plan. So stay tuned for that one. Thanks so much. We'll see you back here tomorrow.